Well, we have a new groundbreaking sale. Bubble Mew in a BGS Black Label 10 has nearly sold for $250,000 at Golden Auctions. $236,543 to be exact. That is absolutely insane. I just did a video, last video, on the Gengar from Ascended Heroes going for over 80,000 US dollars in a black label. Now this has absolutely blown that out of the water. So I think this topic deserves a little bit more airtime. So really, it's a bit of a follow-on, delving in deeper to my previous video about who exactly is paying these exorbitant prices for modern BGS black labels and even modern PSA 10 cards. Now, in this video, I'm going to talk about some crazy pricing on BGS black labels that we're seeing lately. What exactly is a BGS black label? But more importantly, we're going to delve into things like gem rates, why this is happening, but more importantly, what next and what does it mean for us investors and collectors? So hang around to the end of the video to find all those things out. Hey, my name's Michael, Pokeoz. We talk all things Pokemon card investing on this channel. If you're new here, welcome. It's great to have you here. And for everyone that tunes in to, or for all you guys and girls that tune into nearly every video or most videos, I really, truly appreciate your support. It means a lot. This channel doesn't happen without you tuning in. So thanks again for watching. So let's talk through a couple of auctions. Here they are up on the screen. It starts with something like this. Giratina V from Lost Origin in a BGS black label, $12,200 this year. That has a pop of 50. 50 black labels. Mewtwo from Destined Rivals. Controversial card. Some love it, some hate it. I'm on the fence. I'm probably more on the side of liking it. I actually, the more I look at this card, the more I like it. Needless to say though, $13,600 US dollars in a BGS Black Label 10 with a pop of 21. Gengar from Fusion Strike, the beautiful VMAX, the big chase card from Fusion Strike, $30,105 this year with a pop of only 10 in a BGS Black Label. Charizard from Phantasmal Flames, $54,100 US dollars with a pop of 23. Also sold in 2026. And the big one, of course, is the Bubble Mew from none other than Padawan Fates, $236,543 with a population of just two in existence. So let's talk through that. How do they command these prices? How does BGS get such expensive prices for their cards? Well, first of all, to get a black label, it needs to be, the card needs to be absolutely flawless. And I think that is the exact words that BGS would use on their website, flawless. Flawless is a really important word. That means there is absolute perfection. There is absolutely nothing at all wrong with the card. What that means is it needs to achieve a 10 on all subgrades, centering, corners, edging, and the surface. Even if one of them gets a 9.5 out of 10 and the other three get a 10, it is not a BGS black label. This is the creme de la creme, an absolute flawless card. Now on that, one of the reasons I think modern cards from Scarlet and Violet era onwards are fetching such expensive prices when it comes to BGS black label 10s is because of print quality. Now print quality is really important because if you have print quality that's too good, what happens is you get such high populations of PSA 10s and also high populations of BGS 10s. We see that with Japanese printing. Japanese printing is a lot better than English printing. And here's an idea, right? If we talk about the Mew, which got the population of 2 in a BGS black label, there is a lot more PSA 10s. PSA 10 is a bit more lenient. You can have a couple of minor things. So centering can be a tiny bit off. Maybe you just have the tiniest bit of whitening on an edge, but they'll still give it a 10. Now with that, the gem rate for Mew from Padawan Fates is 34.35%. That means every single card that gets sent in to be graded with PSA, 34% of them return as a 10. Now keep in mind, these aren't just scrappy cards being sent in. People will pick the eyes out of cards nowadays before they send them in to get graded, because why would you send one that's way off center? Why would you send one that has a dent on the surface? Why would you send one that has whitening on all four corners? It just makes no sense, because you know that, well, if it receives a 9 or an 8, chances are it's worth roughly the same as what it is raw. So you're only going to send it in if you think you have a very strong chance on a modern card of receiving a 10. Now, Magikarp from Paldea Evolved, the gem rate on that card, this is harsh, 16.2%. Paldea Evolved and Obsidian Flames had some of the worst gem rates and therefore worst print quality of the whole Scarlet and Violet era, 16.2%. So out of every 1,000 that gets sent in, 160 receive, or 162 receive a gem 10. That's a very, very low gem rate. And you know how many Black Label Magikarps from Paldea Evolved there is? 0. Imagine if we get one of those. What would the price of that be? It'd have to be, you'd think it would have to go for 500 grand if there's only one of them in existence. And that set's getting old now. There can't be too many more Magikarps being sent off to Beckett to get graded at this stage. So 0 Black Labels. That would be worth $500,000 US in my opinion if it did receive a 10. Now, to put this into some perspective, the gem rate from Sword and Shield era was a little bit stronger. So Umbreon VMAX from Evolving Skies had a gem rate of 70%. That means, of course, 70% of all cards that get sent to PSA returned back as a 10, and 30% didn't. They became 9s or 8s, etc. So very, very strong gem rate. So better print quality from Evolving Skies. And as a result, there is 138 Black Label BGS 10 Umbreons, which still sell for really, really big money. Now, people say pop doesn't matter. I've said for a long time, pop is really, really important. Imagine if there was only one PSA 10 Umbreon VMAX from Evolving Skies. That card would be worth so much money. And this is proven by this Bubble Mew example. 2 in existence at Golden Auction went for nearly $250,000. It's crazy. Hey, I'm going to jump into the why in a second, but before I do that, quick shout out to today's video sponsor, which is of course the Collector app. There'll be a link in the description to download. It is the one-stop shop for all your investing and collecting needs. You put all your singles, all your sealed in there, English, Japanese. It shows you so much data. As a pro user in particular, you'll get more and more data. You can go back in time. You can check things like set analytics, see the top hits inside. All this now, this data that I'm showing on the screen, the gem rate, it shows you gem rates now on Collector app. It never used to do that a couple of months ago. It's crazy how much information as an investor is on Collector. So again, link in the description to download that one. So why is this happening? Like why did Mew go for nearly $250,000 right now? Why? Like for all intents and purposes, it makes no sense. One, popular Pokemon, very, very popular Pokemon. Mew would be one of the top 10, if not top 5 popular Pokemon, you would think. 2, very modern take and very aesthetic artwork. I've said that all along. Like, what makes a chase card expensive? Well, it's got to have a popular Pokemon, it's got to have nice artwork, and it's got to have tough pull rates. That's why. So, first one there, popular Pokemon in Mew. Second one, aesthetic artwork. 3, it underwent the highest grading standards out of all grading portfolios. There is nothing harder than receiving a BGS Black Label 10. Now, coupled with that, the massive hype around some of the auctions lately, it creates FOMO on steroids. And that's exactly what we've got here, FOMO on steroids. This card has gone for insane money. So what next? What does this actually mean for collectors and investors? And what does it mean from an investing standpoint moving forward for other cards? So here's what I think is going to happen next. These auctions that are achieving insane prices, it just adds fuel to an already blazing fire. That's what it feels like for me. What's going to happen here is sellers' expectations are going to increase. If sellers' expectations increase, it means the floor to the whole market gets pulled up. Like, one sale can shift the entire market. And that's what I feel is going to happen here. The new expectation is if you have low pop BGS Black Label cards, even modern cards that have only been out several months, like Gengar, like Pikachu from Ascended Heroes, these cards have been out for a few months. The market's expectation, the seller's expectation now, is these cards achieve north of $10,000 in sales. And if they have super low pop and they've been out for several years, like Bubble Mew from Paldean Fates, the market's expectation or the seller's expectation now is insane amounts of money. This, in my opinion, resets the market. Now, what does it mean from a sealed perspective? If you're someone that likes to invest in sealed product, you like to get elite trainer boxes, booster boxes, etc., like myself, what does it mean? What does it mean for something like a Paldea a Paldean Fates Elite Trainer Box? Or if we look at Magikarp, which has 0 BGS 10s, and people are going to hunt that perfect card, what does it mean for something like a Paldea Evolved Booster Box? Well, what's the old saying? Like, everything will rise up. A rising tide will pull up all ships. I don't know the exact quote. Someone help me with that one down in the comments. But you get the point. I think it's only going to mean good things from a sealed investing standpoint. Like if you're sitting on Paldean Fates booster bundles, if you're sitting on Paldean Fates Elite Trainer boxes, in particular Pokemon Center Elite Trainer boxes, you're just going to ride this wave all the way to the bank. This is only going to mean good things for you. And same with the Paldea Evolved booster box. And it's like, why? Why do they get risen up with individual sales of singles that achieve really strong prices? Here's why. Because of the gambling effect. You buy a Paldea Evolved booster box, you have roughly 1 in 10 booster boxes or thereabouts, 1 in a dozen booster boxes are going to have a Magikarp sitting inside it. And then you go, well, okay, if I pull that said Magikarp, is mine going to be the Holy Grail? So you're gambling A on the fact that you might pull a Magikarp, but then you're gambling B on the fact that that Magikarp that you pull could receive a PSA 10, or if you send it off to BGS, could be that one coveted Holy card that receives a BGS Black Label 10. And if that happens, you are wealthy. Like that, more than wealthy. That is life-changing money for some people. I think if a Magikarp achieved a BGS 10 from Paldea Evolved, it would be a $500,000 card. That's why the booster boxes are going to pull up in price. So I think if you're sitting on Paldean Fates, if you're sitting on Paldea Evolved, all of these are going to be really, really strong investments in the future. And now's the time to buy them. They've just hopped out of rotation. They're still reasonably cheap in the grand scheme of things. A Paldea Evolved booster box will be a really strong investment in the future. Well, there you go. I thought this topic needed some more airtime. Again, let me know your thoughts down in the comments. Thank you so much again for tuning in. I'm Michael, this is PokeOz, and I'll catch everyone next time.